Some Spanish mackerel are caught year-round, but peak seasons exist. Spring runs from mid-February to mid-May, and fall runs from September to December. Spring brings more fish. Fall brings bigger fish. Light tackle and superb table food make Spanish mackerel fun. They have lighter meat than other mackerel, and can be prepared in many ways. They taste well fried, smoked, or in fish tacos. A springtime old wives' tale is mostly true. On the morning of the third spring fog day, the Spanish mackerel arrived. This makes logical, given the weather and sea temperatures that would cause coastal fog. Spanish mackerel throw from shore, harbor, surf, jetties, piers, and bridges. They can be found trawling the harbor, pass, bay, sandbars, and beach. Outside Redfish Point, Deepwater Point, and the City Marina seawall in Panama City, you can catch them. Destin has Spanish mackerel on the Crab Island Channel and near the Coast Guard Station. Finally, they can be found at Fort Pickens and Pensacola Pass in Navarre. Due to their appetite, spring fish will grow quickly, even though they are barely legal. They devour finger mullet and rain minnows. They all become keeper-sized within a week after appearance. Small lures work well in spring because they eat small baits. Anglers like Spanish mackerel because they school and rarely catch one or two. You should easily catch a limit or near to one if you catch one. Most trawling baits prefer 2 to 4 ounce leads. A tiny sea striker planner is suitable for deep water trawling. If your lure is not pre-rigged, use 50 pounds of fluorocarbon leads. Spanish mackerel are available year-round, but they must be 12 inches long to the tail fork and limited to 15 per person. Spanish mackerels spoil quickly on warm days, so they perform best in a cooler with a slush brine of ice and salt water. We like these Spanish mackerel lures, but there are others. Got char lures, spoons, bucktail jigs, Yozuri twitch baits, crystal minnows, Z-Man jerk baits, and bubble rigs. Spanish mackerel are dark green or blue-backed streamlined fish. Their bellies are silver. They feature protruding scales on their lateral line and a dark mark on their upper gill cover. Spain and king mackerel have numerous similarities. Their body composition differs despite their identical bodily forms. This makes distinguishing differences harder. Lateral lines, dorsal fins, and gills are identical. Spanish and king mackerel exhibit a gradual or dramatic lateral line middle dip. Spanish mackerel develops quickly to 13 pounds and survives 12 years. By 2, they can reproduce. 2 populations exist: the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. They spawn from April to September in the shallow eastern Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic Ocean waters off North Carolina and Virginia. During spawning, Spanish mackerel release eggs in batches. The spawning season can yield 5,000,000 to 1.5 million eggs for females. The Spanish mackerel swim in vast, rapid schools. They move with seasons and water temperatures. Spanish mackerel migrate north to North Carolina in early April and New York in June along the Atlantic coast. Cooler waters return south to Florida later in the year. In the eastern Gulf of Mexico, they move west of Cape San Blas, Florida. They stay in the northern Gulf of Mexico until September, then travel south down the coast in autumn. Spanish mackerel eat herring, menhaden, sardines, mullet, needlefish, and anchovies. Occasionally, they eat shrimp, crabs, and squid. They often bundle small fish into tight bundles and virtually force them out of the water when feeding. Dolphins and sharks eat Spanish mackerel. Their residents: offshore U.S. Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico Spanish mackerel. They reside in shallow estuaries, deep grass beds, and reefs. Although Spanish mackerel prefer open sea, they like water over 6-8 degrees Fahrenheit. Spanish mackerel are more common in the mid-Atlantic region than king mackerel, and many summer Chesapeake Bay fishermen fish for them. In most seasons, inshore coastal waters are attractive. Before we get into this species, watch this little video about catching Spanish mackerel with bluefish on light tackle. Spanish mackerel, Scombromorus maculatus, has 2 populations, one in the Gulf of Mexico and one in the Atlantic Ocean. When the northern Atlantic coast cools, fish return to southern waters after spawning from April to September. They are also called Atlantic Spanish mackerel, horse mackerel, spotted mackerel, Spaniard, and spotted cubby. Spanish mackerel have lengthy bodies and keen teeth. They have tiny scales and finlets from the dorsal and anal fins to the forked tail fin. Silver sides with brassy oval markings and a greenish or bluish back characterize Spanish mackerel. By two, they can breed and travel in fast-moving schools. Spanish mackerel live 5 to 8 years and grow to 2 feet. Fishermen with caught Spanish mackerel. Spanish mackerel are vibrant and lovely. Spanish mackerel hunt bay, anchovy, and small menhaden in schools by chasing the smaller bait to the surface and eating them. If birds dive for bait, Spanish mackerel are likely driving the baits to the surface. Check certain state records. Eric Ludwig caught Delaware's heaviest Spanish mackerel, 6.4 pounds, in 2000. In October 2007, Dean Mitchell captured the Maryland Chesapeake Bay record at 12.4 pounds. Everett Cameron captured Virginia's Spanish mackerel record in 1993 at 9 pounds and 13 ounces. Spanish mackerel are found in the Gulf of Mexico and the Chesapeake Bay, but Florida stocks migrate north. They reach the bay mouth in late spring, usually May or June. They return to Florida in the fall and leave bay waters abruptly when a couple early fall cold fronts reduce water temperatures dramatically. Warm water Spanish mackerel visit the mid-Atlantic in July. Spanish mackerel are taken largely at the mouth of the bay early in the season, in the lower bay through summer and fall, and in the middle bay from midsummer to early fall due to their short season and seasonal migration. Delaware has Spanish mackerel in the lower Delaware Bay and off the coast into the Atlantic Ocean, but they are rarer than in Maryland and Virginia and only appear around midsummer. Trawling is the most common approach to catching Spanish mackerel. Our locals utilize number 1 or 2 diving planers with a small gold or silver spoon 15 to 20 feet back on a 30-pound test leader. To avoid a line twist, place a swivel behind the planer. Anglers also drag a 1 to 3 ounce inline sinker in front of a spoon. Spoon umbrella rigs work too. Trolling speeds are normally 5 to 7 miles per hour, but if bluefish and striped bass are present and you want to target mackerel, speeding up can diminish bluefish catch. Troll for Spanish mackerel in packs and you'll likely hook many. Speedsters can also be caught another way. Cast to them. Casting small spoons and sinking plugs when fish are in schools chasing bait on the surface works. Fishing tip. Spanish mackerel chase fast-moving spoons and plugs, so reel swiftly. After learning how to catch Spanish mackerel in the mid-Atlantic, you'll require tri-state regulations. Mackerel are swift, sleek, and have razor-sharp teeth that can slice through food, making them bait fish's worst nightmare. Mackerel is exhilarating to catch, but its speed at running down prey may empty a spool in a terrifyingly short period. The narrow-barred Spanish mackerel, or Spaniard, is the clanking. This fish can reach 60 kilograms but is usually caught at 8 to 12 kilograms. Broad-barred Spanish, Australian spotted, Queensland school and shark mackerel, sharks, are smaller members of the family. Finally, the gigantic wahoo, the fastest, is a close kin and family member. Mackerel love lures cast from rocks or trolled behind a boat. Halco covers all approaches and lures for different scenarios. Trolling along drop-offs in 12 to 30 meters of water catches most Spaniards. For general trolling with medium to heavy gear, Laser Pro 192nd or 162nd are best. Most troll at 5 to 6 kts and run several colors to see what's popular. Chrome pink may be the focus one day, white redhead the next, perhaps yellowfin or pilchard the next. Predictability is difficult, thus having a variety of colors is helpful. Remember, sunny days and bright lures while choosing a bait. Dull days and lures are good starting points. Similar narrative with lure depth. Deep diving 162nd or 192nd, built to run at 2 meter down, are normally tested first. But if the fish are deep, a 6-7 meter crazy deep model will get there. Try a regular model, 1 meter down if the fish are up top. When the fish are feeding on top, cast a rooster popper, skim stick, or seagar into the disturbance and retrieve it over the surface for more excitement. Watch a Spaniard nail the bait from below, then soar several meters with it in its jaws. The Laser Pro 140 lure has been well received by light tackle trollers. but the RMG Scorpion 125, which can be trolled on 4-kilogram tackle, is still a favorite. This lure has long been a hidden weapon for capturing mackerel and has won many light tackle sport and game fishing contests. Whether you're fishing for fish or need to cover terrain quickly, Halco's high-speed lures will keep you in the game. Mackerel appreciates the Max lure's streamlined shape, which enables 12 KT trolls. Extra bonus: lower the max and start jigging when you stop, and fish are buzzing beneath the hull. What could break it is unknown. Sharks, the second most abundant mackerel in Australian seas, are found closer in than Spaniards. They are captured like Spaniards but given more opportunity for casting 30-gram twisted lures at surface turbulence. Spotted and school mackerel are similar, but wahoos are usually found in deep blue water. Many enormous wahoos have been caught on a gigantic tremor or trolled at speed by laser pros. For those stranded on shore, Halco has numerous lures that work well on rock mackerel. On medium, heavy casting gear, the 80-gram Max 130 excels at long casts. Fast retrieval or deep ripping works well. Medium weight gear fits the 40-gram Seaguar nicely and casts a mile. It can be recovered over the top like a popper, or submerged like a wounded baitfish. Few surface predators, like mackerel, can resist. The 3-meter Scorpion 125 beats Spaniards and Sharkies for close to rock work with little to medium gear. Spanish mackerel is a popular sport and table fish in Australia. Recreational and commercial fishermen prize their firm, white, tasty meat. They have long, slender bodies with dark blue tops and silver centers and bottoms. They have slender dark blue or black vertical bars on their bodies. They live on offshore and coastal reefs as pelagic, surface-dwelling fish. Spanish mackerel are usually 2 to 15 kilogram and 55 to 125 centimeter long. Their weight and length can reach 40 kilogram and 200 centimeter. Commercial and regulation Spanish mackerel fisheries are extensively regulated by local authorities. To preserve this species, government evaluation and regulation reform will reduce commercial quotas and recreational bag restrictions. All fish species should be checked with your local fishing authority for size, bag limits, and other rules, which vary by state. Michael Wilkinson's 44.91 kilogram Spanish mackerel catch in Scottsboro, Natal, South Africa, on the 14th of March, 1982, holds the IGFA all-tackle world record. Spanish mackerel follow the warm East Australian current south to find bait fish in summer and autumn. When the waters cool before winter, they return north. Spanish mackerel inhabits much of Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, and northern New South Wales coastlines. Kayaks, trailer boats, rock fishermen, and large game fishing vessels can catch Spanish mackerel. Spanish mackerel live anywhere bait is found, from coastal seas offshore to the continental shelf. They can be caught by trolling and casting lures, towing dead and live baits, anchoring floating baits, or casting from rocky headlands, depending on conditions. Medium-sized fish up to 8 kilogram spool up in the hundreds, whereas larger fish form tiny packs or are solitary. Spanish mackerel prefer coral reef edges, reef bomboras, wrecks, rocky headlands, and big drop-offs with baitfish schools. Spanish mackerel schools mark up well on your sounder, letting you to locate and label them and target them with your favorite method. Spanish mackerel have huge, keen teeth that can tear fishermen's flesh like butter. Untrained anglers have slashed their fingers to the bone, thighs wide, and feet bloody. The best way to land a table-worthy Spanish mackerel is to gaff it in the head and use a wooden bat. After brain spiking and bleeding on both sides, drop your fish in an ice slurry to set. The flesh of fish left in the sun or on the deck will soften soon. Spanish mackerel can be released from the boat without handling. A long-armed hook remover is useful for removing hooks without hurting fingers. As the fish are hard to manage, bringing one aboard the boat alive will cause it to kick and slash with its teeth, damaging any body parts in its path, and removing its slime and scales, diminishing its survival chance. Sharks feed on Spanish mackerel on the borders of schooling fish in abundance. Sharks have learned to follow the sound of motors trolling and wait for Spanish mackerel to hook up before grabbing their portion of the catch each season. Spanish mackerel freezes well and is delicious. Ciguatera poisoning in tropically caught larger fish is the only hazard with this species. Since Ciguatera is neurotoxic, higher concentrations are found in the spine. Therefore, filleting the fish and removing the dark meat may reduce the danger of swallowing it.